Who is a hacker? Hack, and hacking are terms that have become ubiquitous in the 21st century. You have probably heard about life hacks, business hacks, and so on. While these may be, in some sense of the word, forms of hacking, the traditional form of hacking we will discuss in this course is computer hacking. Computer hacking is the art of using computer-based technologies in ways that were never intended to be used to get them to do something unanticipated. Hacking has taken on many different names and forms throughout the years. So in the late 20th century, a common form of hacking was known as phreaking, which abused weakness in analog phone systems. Computer hacking has been around for more than half a century and over the past 5 decades has become a pop culture sensation in Hollywood movies and on television shows. It's all over the news almost daily, so you hear about things such as Equifax, NHS, and Home Depot data breaches all the time. If you're reading and taking this course, you have made your first step toward a better understanding this fringe form engineering. Now that we have a better idea of what a hacker is, so let's explore the various classifications of hackers. Hacking has many varieties of flavors, and so there are many classifications for hackers. So in this course, in this lecture, we will explore the various types of hackers, so including the activities, skill sets, and values associated with each. We have let me here. So we have different types of hackers: black hat, white hat, gray hat, suicide hackers, state-sponsored hackers, script kiddies, and cyber terrorists. At the end of this section, lecture actually, you will able to compare and contrast each types of hacker. Let's start with black hat hacker here. So black hat hackers typically have a strong understanding of systems, networks, and application programming, which they use for malicious and or criminal purposes. So this type of hacker typically has a deep understanding of evasion and identification tactics, which they use to avoid imprisonment as a result of their actions. So they understand the common tools and tactics used by highly skilled ethical hackers. Hackers caught performing criminal hacking are usually blacklisted from ethical hacking, thus losing the ability to get employment as an ethical hacker. Now that you have a better understanding of black hat hackers, let's take a look at another type on that follows that ethical hacker ethical principles practice and helps others, the white hacker. White hat hacker. The white hat hackers, like a black hat hackers, possess a strong understanding of systems, networks, and application programming. However, unlike black hats, they use their knowledge and skills to test systems, applications, and networks for security vulnerabilities. So this testing is conducted with the permission of the target and is used to find weaknesses in security before unethical hackers and black hat hackers exploit them. The motivation to safeguard systems and entities while staying with the confines of the law and ethics leads to the white hats being called as ethical hackers. Like black hats, they possess a solid knowledge of hacking tools, attacks vectors, and tactics used in the exploitation and discovery of vulnerabilities. They also need to think like a black hats when testing and therefore must use creativity to imagine themselves in the shoes of those they wish to combat. Ethical or white hat hacking is the most common form of hacking and focus of this course. now that we understand the difference between a white hat hacker and a black hat hacker. So let's move on to type of hacker who looks for vulnerabilities while inhabiting an ambitious or gray area between ethical and unethical hacking. So the gray hat hacker here. The gray hat hackers are similar to white hats but often conduct vulnerability research on their own. So and then disclose these vulnerabilities to force vendors to remediate the issue by using a software patch. Their skills typically have a heavy emphasis on vulnerability research tactics such as fuzzing, debugging, and reverse engineering. At times, being a gray hat can be difficult as the balance of definition of ethical and unethical actions keep changing. So despite the difficult place that they occupy in the community, they share valuable information about security flaws and therefore important members of therefore they are important members of the cybersecurity community. So the next type of hacker uses the unethical means to break into systems but does not do so for personal profit like a black hat. This type of hacker is the suicide hacker. What is suicide hacker? Suicide hackers are typically less skilled hackers who are just about capable enough to gain access to systems but are not able to avoid detection. So these hackers have no concern for being caught or imprisoned. So they are happy as long as they succeed in entering and disrupting a system. Their actions are motivated by revenge, political ideologies, and so on. So this type of hacker doesn't care whether they are caught or arrested as long as the job is done. Next, we will take a look at hackers who work on behalf of or within governments, state-sponsored hackers. The state-sponsored hackers is usually employed by national government to spy and launch cyber attacks against another government and nation. So these hackers have dominated the conversations about hacking in society. So this type of hacker enjoys access to all the tools and resources provided by the state, as well as protection from prosecution in order to execute their duties effectively. However, not everyone has access to the cybersecurity training or tools. Most people start with limited resources and skills, such as the type we will encounter in next section here is the script kiddies. A script kiddie is a type of hacker that has not fully understand and technical background of hacking. They use scripts and tools created by other hackers to perform their dirty work. However, even though script kiddies lack the technical knowledge of a real hacker, their actions can still cause a lot of damage in the digital world. Most hackers start off as a script kiddie, then by developing their knowledge and skill set, so they are able to become more accomplished at hacking. This ultimately leads them to choose a life as one of the various other types of hackers mentioned in this lecture. The last type of hacker has a different set of motives, for example, ideological or political motives that are extreme in nature. They are the cyber terrorists. Cyber terrorists are either individuals or groups with hostile intent to cause havoc for their targets, such as a nation here. So their motivation is political in nature. The cyber terrorists carry out quite a wide variety of hacking based on what they do, from causing chaos by compromising cybersecurity to even compromise the physical security by hacking into confidential databases. Having completed this lecture here, you are now able to differentiate between each of hackers, and you know about their motives and skill sets. The skill sets of hackers can range from script kiddie to black hat level. Next, let's move to some important terminologies here so that you can become better acquainted with the language of cybersecurity community. You may have already encountered these terms and you will continue to do so in this course and on your journey to becoming a penetration tester through the discussions, our course, training, and your own practical examples and so on. So I'm waiting you in next lecture.